Merry Christmas. Welcome to another update of my plodding, struggling, slow Korean journey. I've been studying Korean, I guess, for hard to say exactly, maybe 3, 4 years, on and off, not constant, but really, part of that was more consistent than I'd like to say, just because it's dragging out so far, so long, and I'm still in an upper beginner stage. Yeah. So earlier this year, I wanted in September. I of course was I've been wanting to go to Asia for quite some time, and I had been kind of thinking maybe Japan, maybe Korea. Japan, of course, would be so much more. Um, well, I could communicate with people so much better, and so I could make friends, make more meaningful relationships if with new people I met in Japan as opposed to Korea. So I thought, and that, yeah. So, but Japan was closed, and I got tired of waiting, and also I wasn't sure if I even wanted to go to Japan anyway. So I decided to spontaneously make a trip to go to Korea, and I went online one evening, just suddenly, just kind of just said, okay, I've had enough. And I went online, Googled Korean language school, found a place that lets you, took students every week. So, and they had openings next month in October. And I set a date. Um, I started the enrollment process, purchased my tickets before everything was confirmed. They say not to do that, but oops, it worked out fine. Um, I guess my concern was that the ticket prices and even the availability of having a connecting flight that was not overnight, like an overnight layover, was just disappearing because I was scheduling this relatively quickly. So anyway, it worked out. I went to a language school in Seoul, in Gangnam, and I there's a couple options. One option is to stay with like a host family type thing, or the single apartment. I did a host family stay in France when I was in college, and mixed experience overall. I obviously I chose not to do it this time. So overall, I would say I wanted the privacy, and I just didn't want the stress of living in someone else's home, basically always conforming to to what they want because it's their home. So and the pressure kind of to fulfill their expectations of what they want, or in a person staying at their home, or in Americans studying their language, etc. Yeah, um, didn't want the pressure. And also I'm a lot older, and I didn't know how that would work out. When you're younger, it's kind of like maybe my France family, they had high school age kids, and their motivation really for the foreign exchange was to get language practice for their kids. And I guess you could do that even from an old foreign exchange to it. But if you're with a big age difference, it's like, how much are you going to talk to the kids? So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. And so I decided to go to Korea. It was a pretty simple process. I think the plane tickets were about $1,500. The school itself was probably another $1,500. I guess it was kind of expensive, but not too bad. The place I stayed at, the apartment was extremely small. There literally was no place to stand up. It was pretty cheap. So, when you get this really small place to stay, thankfully you do save money. And um, it consisted of a bed, a desk, a chair, a toilet, and a shower. And they crammed this into the smallest space possible. If you took the chair out, and I was tempted to, then you do have uh, room to stand up comfortably. I mean, you can still stand up, of course. You're kind of standing over the chair, fighting for the floor space with the chair. And yeah, um, there were mosquitoes in the in the building there on the fourth floor in the late fall. Cool weather, very surprising. And at nighttime, in the middle of the night, a lot of mosquitoes were on your face or anywhere on your head, um, with their high pitch. I don't know where that sound comes from, but yeah, it just as you're drifting off to sleep, you hear that mosquito, and they're like about to eat you. Oh, they're pretty easy to catch, but the depressing thing is when you catch them, they're full of blood. Yeah. Anyway, So the, cheap lodgings. The lodgings were. I hated my apartment, but the location was amazing. And when I walked out my door, there was restaurants everywhere, delicious restaurants to go to, variety of restaurants, all the restaurants, other stores too. If any kind of shopping you wanted to do, it was there, and fantastic. My school was about 10 minutes walking distance, and it's very disorienting going to I think going to a big city area like that, but especially in Asia where all the signage is not, even though I can read, and this was kind of cool, as opposed to Japan, I can read the signs this time around. I can read the alphabet, but I have to concentrate to read it. It's not like the Roman alphabet where I automatically read it while thinking about something else. Not quite like that. So, but anyways, very disorienting. So going to school or just knowing my way around this neighborhood, even the main streets, it took me a couple weeks to really to get to not look at my Google Maps very much. Actually, there's Google Maps works, and that's what I prefer to use. But most people actually use this neighbor maps option instead. I forget why I didn't like it, the neighbor option, but I think it didn't show your position, like the arrow, like north, south, east, west. Like with the Google Maps, I could kind of like point the phone in a direction, and it would show me where I'm going. And the neighbor maybe didn't. I forget. The neighbor maps directions were more accurate. The Google Maps, you couldn't do directions. You had to look at the map and just kind of walk. Um, the school itself was, it was overall, I say, very good experience. The placement test, somehow they didn't give me a placement test. They just I missed it. They said my name and I didn't hear them. And the lady doing this decided, oh, I wasn't there, even though I was checked in, sitting at my desk with my name tag. She's like, oh, he didn't hear me. I guess he's not here. I think she was a student volunteer and very shy. And yeah, that sucked. So I got placed into a really low level class. They bumped me up when I complained, but still a low level class. Oh well, the class was what it was. It was all in Korean, so that in itself was a big step up from any Korean class I've ever taken. Just having a Korean teacher using Korean all the time, almost all the time. They would use some English for some of the vocabulary, but um, everything else in Korean. That was good. Meeting the other students was a good experience too. I got to go and do touristy stuff with with other students from the school, which was a lot of fun. I made friends that way, and very good. Um, Talking to natives was a struggle. I spent a lot of time going to McDonald's simply because it was easy. The food was also okay, but simply because the ordering experience was easy. And basically, whenever I went to buy even a takeout place, like one of the standing um, snack bars in the street, if you they sell like treats, like these, they have these fried fish with pudding inside, absolutely delicious. But buying that using my Korean, um, sometimes they can't understand my accent, and I can't understand what they're saying whatsoever. I kind of have to guess based on the fact that I'm trying to make a purchase, and I could not understand anything they said to me at all, ever. They could understand me sometimes, but sometimes, but actually more not too bad. Actually, when they could understand me, not too badly. But I could not understand them. I think like once I understood one person said, I can understand my teacher at school. That was no problem. Um, but real Korean in the street, no, not at all. Not at all. Which is frustrating, I will say. Um, yeah. So I got to see go out and do a lot of touristy stuff. I got kicked out of Starbucks. That was a bad experience, simply because I purchased a to-go cup when I got my coffee. But as I was going to leave the store, I said, "Oh, there's actually an empty chair. I'm going to sit down and study." And they kicked me out. They said, "No, you have a to-go cup. If you're in Korea, do not get a to-go cup and then sit down and try to study. Actually, you can do that. Just be prepared to tell the person when they come. If the lady is, or this was a lady, is obnoxious and tries to tell you to leave, just say, "Oh, I want to," because they didn't give me a regular cup. But I just was so shocked. I just walked out, and I'm like, I couldn't argue with her in Korean. Oh God, her English was not very good. Although she kicked me out in English, her English was bad. um, yeah. My whole purpose of going to Korea was basically, of course, to jumpstart my Korean. I felt that I plateaued. I felt that my brain was not absorbing new Korean vocabulary or concepts, grammar, etc. It was kind of filtering it out, and that's hence the plateau feeling. And going to Korea absolutely fixed that. I could feel my brain was like, "Oh yeah, this language is relevant, and your level is not good enough. You need to improve." And my brain was all about that. So I was focusing on studying, and the vocabulary was I'm doing my cramming and stuff. It was clicking and much better than before. It's not like quite a miracle, but I could feel it. It felt better. So that was definitely success. On the way back from Korea, I got Corona in the airport at Los Angeles is when the symptoms started. I don't know I have no idea when I actually caught the Corona. My best guess would be it was at school from one of the other students because they're traveling around the world. Um, Oh God, I didn't say this, but a huge thing about going to South Korea for me was that everyone's wearing masks, and I wear glasses, and they fog up. Other people's glasses did not seem to fog up anywhere near as much as mine did, and that was so frustrating. It was so uncomfortable. I couldn't see very well. There's some solutions you can get. So, for example, I actually did this in advance because I knew this was coming. On Amazon, I got these wipes I could put on my glasses to make the fog go away or not show up in the first place. And they kind of worked, but they would wear off and they didn't always work. And it was not. And then yeah, it kind of worked. Other people didn't put anything on their glasses and they were fine, I guess. And they said, yeah, when it gets even colder, then it becomes a problem. But right now it's fine. I found that if I push the glasses, I have a big nose. So if I push the glasses to the edge of my nose, maybe like someone who's wearing reading glasses, people do. So they can read, they look down to read and they look up because they don't need the glasses for the distance. That kind of thing, except I needed the glasses for the distance. So that helped, but clearly a little awkward and extremely frustrating. That actually was the big detractor. They're getting kicked out of Starbucks. That was not a great experience. But the worst thing about South Korea for me was the wearing the mask. I find wearing masks uncomfortable anyway, but then not being able to see with my glasses on top of that makes it worse. Of course, you don't wear a mask when you're eating, so I would always try to be eating something as much as possible to take the so that I didn't have the mask on. And of course, I got the Corona. I don't think one of the classmates was a doctor from Belgium in Europe, and his comment about the everyone wearing the mask all the time was masks don't work unless you do them properly, and basically you can't take the mask off if for any reason at all. For example, on the airplane, people take the mask off to eat. Yeah, you can't do that. You just defeated the purpose. Now everyone's got Corona anyway, even though you're wearing the mask and making yourself uncomfortable for the majority of the trip. The fact that you took the mask off for to eat your food just spread the virus anyway. So waste of time. And that's basically probably why I got the coronavirus, despite the fact that masking is very prevalent in South Korea. I think, in fact, all the masking does is to make everyone uncomfortable, although at least me and the people who don't like masks uncomfortable. I guess people that like masks, it makes them even more comfortable. And I would say that it seems like the majority of Koreans liked wearing masks, majority of them, but not everyone. My language partner didn't like masks. My language partner's sister did not like masks even more. She hated masks. That made me so happy. I liked her just for that. Yeah. When I came back from my trip, I was hoping, of course, to continue studying Korean, but getting coronavirus really put a speed bump in that. I wasn't able to focus on Korean for several weeks. Part of it was for the first few weeks, first 2 weeks of having the coronavirus really was because I was just too tired. Just, I couldn't mentally I couldn't focus. After that, because I having had that time off, what I did when I was had the instead of studying Korean for my free time, I got in the habit of basically just consuming content in English, reading novels in English, watching Japanese anime, although with or without subtitles. I don't know anyway, but basically not studying Korean. I got into the habit of that. But then after a month of getting back, I got back into studying Korean again, and it's going really well. The I feel like the plateau I had is hopefully, I think the Korean vocabulary is sticking when I do Anki reviews, and I'm reading books on Link. I'm not sure. I've read one novel already since getting back. It's a light novel translated from Japanese into Korean. I'm so although I find I like Harry Potter, but I'm so sick of Harry Potter. So I'm so happy to not be reading Harry Potter. And so I got this off the Google Play Store. The language level is on this particular, the first one I read was really low, and it was actually, although very hard to start after I got going, and I got used to the style and learned some of the new vocabulary. It was really good. However, it being a light novel, the plot and the writing style, because it was so simple, did get boring at the end. And there's two more sequels I might read, but I switched to a different novel, light novel, translated from Japanese. This seems to be these light novels are very interesting to start, but I find that one is enough. At the end of the first novel, I'm probably going to be like, yeah, I don't need to continue. Which is too bad, because I probably would really benefit from continuing to reinforce the vocabulary they're using. I definitely noticed that switching between the two novels, the authors are using some of the vocabulary transfers over, but a lot of it doesn't. The vocabulary they decide to use is like kind of, I wouldn't say unique to that book, but it becomes so much less common once this certain translator or author or whatever likes this certain set of vocabulary or expressions, and then you move to a different series book and it's different. And of course, in real life, it's different too. So yeah, that's a shame. I'm also doing italki lessons. I'm doing a lesson. I'm using English in the lessons to talk, but mostly, but a little bit of Korean. I'm using the English mostly because I'm taking these lessons after work and I'm tired and my Korean's not very good. So in order to make sure I keep doing the lessons, knowing I'm going to speak Korean for half an hour or an hour or whatever, these lessons are an hour. With my crappy Korean level is actually really stressful. Doing Japanese would be super easy. Actually, it would be a pleasure to do an italki lesson in Japanese after work, but Korean, not so much. So doing the lessons, grammar lessons in English, not sure. I'm enjoying them, but I'm not sure how much. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've been doing 2 a week for about a month now. I may continue. I probably will continue, but we'll see. And I'm actually putting in huge amounts of time the past few weeks. I would say 40 hours a week, probably, maybe even a little more of total time. Although some of it's not as productive as others, but still, the amount of time I'm putting in is quite high. So you would think that I'm getting results from that. Although you compare yourself to people who do YouTube videos about studying languages besides myself, and they seem to do so much. They're so much more effective. Oh, I don't know why. Maybe some of them, maybe they lie. Maybe some of them are just whatever. Wish I was that person. I'm not. So, but 40 hours a week, that's good. At least that's kind of how I did Japanese for several years, and I eventually I'm pretty happy with my Japanese level. So hopefully the same thing happens for Korean. I really want it to. As for why am I studying Korean? I just like foreign languages. That's really it. I would really like to do language exchanges on Tandem, for example, with people from Korea. That would be a lot of fun. But with Japanese, I also had the added benefit of watching anime. Although I watch K-dramas a little bit, it's not very much. It's nowhere near like the amount of anime. It's just a little bit. So there was a small period when I first started Korean that I did watch Korean dramas for a few months, pretty regularly, but that tapered off after I kind of watched the Korean dramas that I wanted to watch. Um, Whereas with anime, I can kind of watch any anime and kind of just chill out and like it. But with K dramas, I get bored with a lot of them. They really need to be good action K dramas. So yeah, uh, I really my focus right now is completely on Korean. I'm not really even maintaining Japanese. I still use it occasionally, but really focusing on Korean this year. I really want to this year to be the year that I make progress, and I'm kind of achieve my goal of doing language exchanges in Korean. Yeah. So thank you. If you made it this, if you watched my video, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, of course, I'm really curious as to what you're doing, or if you have any advice for me. I'm always looking for advice, even though I have all this experience studying languages. I'm always looking for ways to change. So yeah, thanks for watching.